discuss the importance of wakaf. I think this is one of the major economic, quote unquote, approaches that is very, very important, very crucial that we have to educate ourselves, our family, our community to be involved in this wakaf. So tonight will be the final 3 lectures. Actually, we have 8 lectures. The first 5 delivered by Prof. Irfan, and the final 3 by Prof. Raditya. So without further ado, we invite our dear Prof to continue with the lecture.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain, amma ba'du. Praise be to Allah Almighty God. Salawat let us send to our beloved Prophet, Messenger, and his family and his friends. Dear brother and sister, Dr. Habib, Dr. Sahran, and all of the participants in this Zoom meeting. Time flies so fast. We are now currently in the 8th lecture. I just remember Dr. Irfan asked me to be the lecturer. It was like yesterday, but now it's already the lecture 8. Right. The topic for the current wakaf, the current discussion is innovation on wakaf. Actually, I have a few things on innovations, but after I think carefully, I would prefer to only discuss one, which is important, which is feasible to be done, and this goes to the micro, small, medium, right? So, and also the reason I prefer to choose this one is because I'm already doing it. So I have a few experience on this one, and I would like to share with all of the participants here in this Zoom meeting. So yesterday, last 2 lectures, we already discussed about the type of wakaf, whereby many of us still recognize wakaf in the form of physical assets, like land, building, and so on. But there is also cash wakaf. Money can also be treated as wakaf. So in order for us to donate wakaf, it doesn't have to be rich first. Only then we can do wakaf. But as long as you have money, as long as you want to donate as a wakaf, then you can do it, right? The important thing is when you want to donate cash wakaf is that you have to mention that the money that you want to give is a cash wakaf, not the sedekah or not the infaq. That's why if you go to mosque, right? Normally you will see a box, a charity box in the mosque, in the masjid, right? If you want to make a donations, or if you want to make a wakaf donations with cash, then you make your intention, your own intention that, okay, let's say you have, like, say, 100 ringgit, right? 100 ringgit Malaysia, you make your intention that, okay, I will donate as a cash wakaf 100 ringgit, and you put your money in the charity box. That's not the way. That's wrong, right? Unless you give it as normal sedekah, yes, you can. If your intention is to give infaq sedekah, yes, you can. You just put the 100 and just put in the charity box. That's fine. But if you want to donate cash wakaf, you cannot just simply put your 100 ringgit to the charity box with the intention that your money is a wakaf. No, that's not the way. Because in context of wakaf, you have to have a nazir. You have to have a fund manager who will manage the money that is received from you. In the charity box in the mosque, how will the person in masjid know that the money that you put in that charity box is wakaf? How will the person in charge know that your money is wakaf? The case will be different if, let's say, in the mosque, there exist two kinds of boxes. First, it is written as a charity, right? Charity box. And the other box is written as cash wakaf, let's say. That will be different, right? Because in the charity box, the box which written charity, the person there in the masjid can use the money for any kind of purposes. But the person in masjid, when they treat the other box, the wakaf box, then he has to generate. He could not use that money for consumptive purposes, cannot, because it is coming from the wakaf box, cash wakaf box. The person in the masjid will treat the cash wakaf box. They have to generate that money and then create income and create the profit. Only the profit can be distributed for social purposes, right? So that's different. We have to put the different box if you want to get the wakaf from the people and you want to get the sedekah also from the people. Right. So knowing that the wakaf can be in the form of money, right? Of course, the fund manager, right? The fund manager has to be equipped with the knowledge of finance because they receive money, right? So that's why the fund manager, the ideal fund manager for wakaf, is actually has to equip with the financial portfolio, which we learn from the conventional finance, right? In the conventional finance, we learn portfolio, financial management, how to, take some portions of this amount of money to be invested in the, let's say, Islamic stocks. Some other portions is invested in the real sector, let's say, and some other things, right? Not only that, the ideal fund manager for wakaf, they have to know also about the fiqh muamalah, right? What is the contract? Is this transaction allowed or not allowed? So fund manager has to be equipped with the two things: conventional financial portfolio, but for sure he will have to make investment in the Sharia compliance part, Sharia compliance alternative investment. And also he has to know about the knowledge of fiqh muamalah, right? So in the context of financial institutions, we know that the bank is a financial institutions, financial intermediaries, and cooperative also financial intermediaries as well, right? So my lecture for tonight, I want to focus on the how to develop the small medium enterprise, right? So that they can be better and better in terms of economic sense, right? So in this case, I want to present about BMT Muda. BMT is Islamic Cooperative, and Muda is the name of one of the PMT in Surabaya. The reason I chose this case study is because this PMT already got license from the Wakaf regulator Indonesia that this institution is allowed to raise cash wakaf so that they can give financing with the flexible rate. Later I will explain what is the advantage of having cash wakaf for the financing. So before I go into detail, let me, for those of you who have never been to Indonesia, so this is Indonesia and this is Malaysia, and this is Aceh, this is Kuala Lumpur, and this is Jakarta. This is me in Surabaya here. Surabaya is East Java, right? East Java. If you know Bali, I'm sure you know Bali more than Indonesia. Bali is just a neighborhood of East Java. And East Java has a capital city. The name is Surabaya. That's the city which I live now. So if you look at the island of Indonesia, so this is the five big island, right? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you look at this kind of Indonesian's island, so many areas which is directly facing the ocean. See, so in terms of maritime, we have a good advantage in context of Indonesia, right? So that's why our president, current president, Bapak Joko Widodo, is now focusing on the maritime, right? For the fish and also for other things, we develop very much on the maritime sector. So if we zoom this map into the only East Java, it becomes like this. This is Surabaya, and this is Madura Island, and this is Bali. Provinsi Bali is a Bali province, right? So in this context, Surabaya is here. Surabaya is just next to the beach. If I zoom Surabaya, it becomes like this. So this is Surabaya. So Surabaya here has also a beach, right? Has a beach. And this is Madura Island. Madura. Now, before, there is one project which is conducted by collaborations between my campus, Universitas Airlangga, and PMT Muda. It is a community service. We want to develop how to, increase the welfare of the fishermen. Fishermen are there in one of the beach in Surabaya, but if you look at their life, still, we need to help them. We need to help them to, to easily get finance and then to get more income and so on. So this community service, is our strength. I mean, Universitas Airlangga is the first Nazir University in Indonesia. So different with the context of our neighborhood country Malaysia, whereby Wakaf and Nazir is within the authority of its states. But in the context of Indonesia, Nazir can be public, can be private, and can be university. Like my campus is a university, public university, and we apply to be as a Nazir, and Alhamdulillah, Wakaf regulator give permissions to act as a Nazir university. With this license, that we are allowed to raise fund for the cash wakaf. So the community service program is a wakaf for fishermen, jointly conducted with the BMT Muda. BMT is Islamic cooperative. It stands for MAL is for social, Tamil is for business. So that's why BMT has two orientations: business orientations as well as the social orientations, right? Not like a bank, even Islamic bank. Islamic bank is focusing on the profit only, right? But for BMT, it's not profit only, but also the social orientations, right? So BMT is regulated by Ministry of Cooperative. And then source of fund can be from members, can be from Islamic banks, and the financing is focusing on micro, small, medium enterprise. So I'm also part of the BMT Muda in the Syariah Advisor. Also my colleague Sohrul is also lecturers in Ustaz Erlangga, also in the BMT, the director, and also graduate from IUM. So BMT Muda, this is the certificate mentioning that BMT Muda is legal to raise cash wakaf. And this is the website. So if you look at how much is a cash fundraising by BMT Muda, it's not much. It's just very recently established. BMT Muda started from 2016, around that time. And it's just a small part. You see, in this year, only small part of this wakaf. And last 2 years, it's only like this much, right? But it can generate profit and also infak and sedekah so that we can channel to Mawqaf Alai this much. This much is like 1/3 of this much, right? So here's the process. The story behind this project is like this. When I discussed with my colleague in the BMT Muda, Ibu Sohrul, we were discussing about how to develop the fishermen. Is it possible to give a financing to the fishermen on the basis of cash wakaf? And then we discuss, and then we agree to give financing to the fishermen. But if all the fishermen comes to this BMT Muda, right, we can do. But there's another way that is better managed. So BMT Muda, right, visit the associations of the fishermen. They meet this BMT Muda meet with the association of fishermen and ask all the association to establish another BMT, another Islamic cooperative. Right? The reason for establishing this cooperative, we call it Koperasi Bahari. So this is, if you see this one, Koperasi Bahari is actually BMT, which is established by Fishermen Association with the assisting of BMT Muda, right? So the intention is that it will be easier for BMT Muda to control the financing because BMT Muda can only give financing to this Koperasi Bahari, and then the Koperasi Bahari will manage the financing to all the fisheries and fishermen. And also this Koperasi Bahari, they have shop, right? If you see this picture, it has a net, right? It has a rope, right? And so on, which is needed by the fishermen. So previously, these fishermen, they live just next to the beach. But in order for them to go for fishing, they have to prepare net, rope, any other equipment, but they have to go to the downtown. They have to, to go to downtown. Of course, it takes time, takes energy, takes, transportation and so on. So this BMT Muda will try to ease the fishermen to establish the shop just next to the beach, right? Just next to the beach. This, the thing which I just make a circle like this is the equipment that is needed by the fisherman. So fisherman doesn't have to go to the downtown again to get rope, to get net, and so on. Just get from this shop. And also this is association. So if you look at the process, it's very simple, right? So wakif, of course, this is wakif, right? Donate cash wakaf to BMT Muda, right? And then for the first time, BMT Muda finance the Koperasi Bahari, this newly established Islamic cooperative, which is by the fishermen associations, only 4 million rupiahs. It's equivalent to USD 350 US dollars for 10 months. It doesn't cost much. But this is Qardul Hasan. So what is Qardul Hasan actually? Qardul Hasan is just interest-free financing. So 4 million rupiahs, and then after 10 months, then this Koperasi Bahari will have to return back 4 million without additional charge, right? Maybe you ask, what is the advantage? What is the benefit of BMT Muda giving Qardul Hasan 4 million without any charge? Well, BMT Muda, the intention is that to help the fishermen. Because this BMT Muda, or this Koperasi Bahari, this newly established Islamic cooperative, is just newly established. How come we make a burden to the newly established Islamic cooperative? No, we don't want to create a burden. So for the first financing, just give Qardul Hasan after 10 months. After 10 months, then the Koperasi Bahari return exactly the same thing, 4 million. So how will Koperasi Bahari use this 4 million rupiahs, or equivalent 350? It's used to buy these things, net, diesel oil, rope, and so on, which is every day needed by the fishermen. Fishermen then buy from store KB. KB is a Koperasi Bahari, in cash or installment. First time succeed, second time with musyarakah. See, first time succeed with the Qardul Hasan, second time with musyarakah. Maybe you think, why the second time the contract is changed to musyarakah? Well, of course, the first contract, which is Qardul Hasan, again, the intention is to help. And after 10 months, this BMT Muda know that Koperasi Bahari can stand on its own. Then the second contract will no longer Qardul Hasan. Then they agree to have musyarakah for the second contract. So that's the way. That's the way. That can only be done with cash wakaf. Cash wakaf is so flexible in the context of giving how much is the financing rate, right? Okay, let me draw like this. Okay, let me draw. This is a BMT, right? If, let's say, depositors, let's say, of course, depositor is not wakif. Depositor at the maturity, they will need to get the money back, right? And also, BMT is a financial intermediaries, and this is business. Let's say SME, right? So this depositor is the investor. Right? So in the investor, of course, in the maturity, they will ask the profit portions. Let's say for 1%. Let's say to make it easier for us to calculate per month. Equivalent. So 1% equivalent from the profit rate. So of course, when the BMT get the source of funds at this price, of course BMT has to, give financing more than this one, right? Let's say 2.2% per month, right? Okay. So if BMT found a business which agree with the Islamic contract and then it is equivalent to 2.2, then BMT can give finance. And this SME business will regularly pay the equivalent 2.2% per month. And then deduct 1%, that will become 1.2. And this 1.2 will be the profit earned by this BMT, right? Now, what if this side is not investor, is not depositors, but Waqif? Can Waqif take back the money? No. Waqif will give permanent. Of course, what I'm talking is a permanent wakaf, not the temporary wakaf. Permanent wakaf, right? Permanent. If it is permanent, then BMT do not have to think to return back to the Waqif. So if depositor required 1%, Waqif 0. 0 means that BMT doesn't need to give the principal nor the profit rate to the Waqif, right? So he gave fresh money, cash money, 0 cost of fund, this BMT. And then if BMT wants to give a business, let's say same 2.2% per month, right? So when BMT receive equivalent 2.2, then because this is a cash wakaf, BMT doesn't have to return back to the Waqif, then all 2.2% goes to BMT, right? Goes to BMT and later distribute to Mawquf Alai. So BMT can decide how much is for Mawquf Alai, how much is for their own profit, right? So it's big, 2.2 minus 0, so it's 2.2, right? BMT, with the use of the cash wakaf, can also design in such a way that for those of the SME in which this SME, they have skill, but they don't have the experience because it's just a new business. They have skill, they know how to do, but they don't have experience. So BMT can give financing with the 0% or Qardul Hasan. Why BMT willing to give 0% Qardul Hasan financing to SME? Because it's just newly started. Later on, after one period, we'll see. If it's success, then for the second contract, when this SME want to get the financing again from the BMT, of course, BMT do not want to continue with the Qardul Hasan. They will go for another contract, right? Because they see that this small medium enterprise can stand on its own, right? So that is the flexibility from the cash wakaf, right? And cash wakaf can be in a small amount. But if you collect the small amount from various wakif, you can collect that small amount of wakif. It can really significant for the small medium enterprise, right? Really significant, right? Okay, let me continue. Okay, BMT Muda give financing to Islamic cooperative named Koperasi Bahari, just like I mentioned. KB or Koperasi Bahari is established by Association of Fishermen. This is a good thing. Why good thing that the Koperasi Bahari is in fact established by the Association of the Fishermen? because it will create a social pressure among themselves. Why? Because let's say one of the fishermen is doing moral hazard. They don't want to repay back the loan or repay back the financing. Of course, this person, as a part of the associations, all of his friends will know that this one person is default with the intention. So of course they will treat differently. So that is kind of a social pressure that can be created if this cooperative or this cooperative is established by the associations. So all the persons will know each other. How much do you lend? I mean, how much do you get the financing? How much you have to pay for a certain period and so on. So that makes easy for the BMT to control, right? To control, just discuss with the director of the Koperasi Bahari and get the balance sheet and so on, right? So BMT does not give financing directly to individual fishermen, no, because it's too much, too many people, right, and difficult to control. So this is done to avoid moral hazard and minimize the default risk. Right. Now, okay, just like I mentioned, just 4 million. So yeah, 4 million is 330 USD. It was in 2017. After 10 months, then it goes for musyarakah, right? So if you look at this one, it shows that this Koperasi Bahari is growing, right? It's growing because after Kordul Hasan, then another financing. After that is financing with a profit. Now try to look at this is the sheet of the Koperasi Bahari, right? The balance sheet. Try to look at the assets. So this is not the balance sheet of the BMT Muda, but balance sheet of the Koperasi Bahari. Try to look at the balance sheet in 2017. 22 million rupiahs. But a year after, can you look at this one? 51, more than 100%, right? More than 100%. Although 51 million is a small amount, only the USD is only 3,400. But if you look at the progress, it's very significant from this one to this one, right? Cash wakaf is significantly make this significant amount of increase, right? Okay, this is the locations of the Koperasi Bahari. It's just next to the beach. This kind is very small, but really can help the fishermen. So this very small shops, right? Now this is me in the Koperasi Bahari. It's very small, right? So how about the repayment process? The fishermen, of course, they make an installment to the Koperasi Bahari, right? And then Koperasi Bahari make an installment to BMT Muda. And then part of the profit will go for the Wakaf Alai. So the fund is not going directly to the BMT Muda, no, because there's too many, right? It is easier for the BMT Muda to establish Koperasi Bahari and just to control this Koperasi Bahari. Easy, right? And this beneficiaries Wakaf Alai, what kind of Wakaf Alai that is supported by this BMT Muda? It's like this. Beneficiaries, food for the needy and gorimin. So the old widow who really rely on other party, right? They cannot work, right? So this kind of the people is supported by the cash wakaf from the profit from this Koperasi Bahari. So if you look at this concept create a profit from the fishermen, whereby all the fishermen also, as a part of the micro and small medium enterprise, the Koperasi Bahari can earn profit from that, but the fisherman is okay with that rate, right? And then part of the profit goes to the also to the another element of society, which need basic need, right? This kind of people, the old widow and so on, they could not cook, right? They rely heavily on the help by others, right? And also the beneficiaries other than this is Quranic teachers. So these all students here are free. They can learn the Quran, and the teachers regularly is funded by the profit from that fisherman. And currently, from the performance of the PMT Muda with the cash wakaf, we can support 25 places like this all over East Java. 25 from the cash wakaf, right? So alhamdulillah. And also beneficiaries for renovations for the mosque can also be done, right? So what is the advantage of the having Koperasi Bahari? Well, as I said, before Koperasi Bahari was established, all the fishermen has to go downtown, right? They have to, it incurs time, energy, and expenses, right? But having a Koperasi Bahari, which is located next to the beach, is easier. Less time, less expenses, less energy. Right? At the macro level, it runs the local economy, right? And another good thing is that the fishermen will pay back the financing to Koperasi Bahari when they got money from selling the fish to middlemen. Look, so it's very, very helpful to the fishermen. The fishermen can take the net first without paying. When the fishermen take the net, take the rope, and they go for fishing, and they get fish, and the fish is sold to the middleman, the fishermen get money, part of it for the payment to the Koperasi Bahari, right? So the existence of the Koperasi Bahari is very, very vital in this context. It really helped the fishermen. And also, fishermen can save their money in the Koperasi Bahari, can get the profit from the saving, right? And create advantage for PMT Muda. Why? Because PMT Muda has a good partnership channel with Wakaf instrument. Of course, when we talk about the financing with the source of cash wakaf, we have to think about how to mitigate the risk, right? Because this is cash wakaf, right? And the cash wakaf, the Nazir has to maintain at least the principle, but the Nazir has to also think about how to develop this cash wakaf to grow bigger and bigger. And also create my campus also to continue to promote wakaf as the university. So what is the challenge? Actually, the challenge is external challenge, actually. Like currently, it's a rainy season. It's difficult for the fishermen to go fishing. They prefer stay at the land, right? Not go for fishing. And also, in this pandemic situations, since less demand to fish, right? Because restaurant is closed, right? If restaurant closed, then restaurant will not buy fish from the middleman. If the restaurant is not buying the fish from the middleman, of course, middleman do not buy the fish from the fishermen, right? As a result, the middlemen could not buy fish to the fishermen, right? So yes, this currently the situation is very challenging. It's very disadvantage for those fishermen. So what is the lesson learned on Waka for this fishermen? Well, again, if we want to take the lesson learned on Waka for fishermen, again, we need to go to the concept of Wakaf when we want to develop to generate profit. That is to find less risk project, right? If you remember the Zamzam Tower, the tower just next to the Masjidil Haram, right? That Zamzam Tower, if you go into detail about the process of the establishment, which part that is wakaf in this tower? Actually, not the tower, which is wakaf. No, not the tower. But the wakaf is on the land. The land is owned by Saudi, right? Of course, it is a wakaf land. And then to develop the hotel or Zamzam Tower, the government of Saudi issue suku intifak, right? So everybody, the investor can buy the suku, right? So the building itself is not wakaf, only the land. Why it is a less risk project? Of course, hotel accommodations next to Masjidil Haram, of course, it's a less risk. Many people go there for Hajj and also for Umrah, right? Every year in Hajj, if I'm not mistaken, 2 million visas. Visa is issued for the pilgrimage, 2 million. And 10% out of the 2 million is for Indonesia. So Indonesia is contributing the largest pilgrimage every year, right? But it's not only for Hajj, but also for Umrah, right? So people prefer to stay close to the Masjidil Haram. That's why they prefer to look into the accommodations which is not far from the Masjidil Haram. They can buy, they have money, they don't mind if they have to pay higher as long as the locations of the hotel is not so far from the Masjidil Haram. So this kind of project is very much suitable if we want to develop wakaf. Try to find the less risk project, right? And how to mitigate the risk? Lesson learned from the wakaf measurement, mitigate the risk. Not give financing to individual, like I said. If let's say 50 fishermen goes for BNT Muda, is very difficult, right? To manage one by one. Let them establish let the association establish another Islamic cooperative so that PMT Muda can focus only for this Islamic cooperative, the Kooperasi Bahari, right? Also mitigation process there. Adopt Qardul Hasan for the first time, to the burden as they get financing for the first time, right? If succeed, give them challenge, right? Change the contract. Okay. My lecture on the wakaf for fishermen is finished, but I want to answer from the question answer which is raised from the last. So I got the text from the Dr. Sahran. I think one of the questions raised last week is when I talk about appreciations towards the kindergarten teacher, since they teach us the very basic, like numbers, 1, 2, 3, words, ABC, Arabic language, alif, ba, ta. By from that time, maybe at the age of 5 of us, every day we use it. Every day we can read, we understand, and every day, every minute, every second, there's a reward goes to the kindergarten school. That time I was talking about the hadith, and one of the hadiths is mentioning about the uninterrupted reward. That is knowledge that is beneficial, right? So my response is that yes, take this as our motivations. What can we do? What can we do to benefit Ummah generation by generation? Teaching, of course, it benefit Ummah. What else, right? My simple advice to you: you create movie and upload to YouTube. It gives you long-lasting internal until Yaumil Akhir, giving knowledge to generation by generations. As long as nobody, ban the YouTube, right? And the movie that you create gives the Islamic message on it, right? You will remember generation by generation. If your movie is interesting, right? I have few movies in the YouTube. Later on, I will show you. Hopefully, you can learn from my video. And also another example, like Brother Irfan has mentioned, the first 5 lectures that now the Basnas, Zakat regulators, is creating index Zakat Nasional. So the index is used by Indonesians regulator on Wakaf to develop Wakaf. So this index is very important. Why? Because by having index, the province in which the index is very low, it motivates them to increase the ranking of index, right? So they are competing each other, province by province, to develop the zakat in their own province. So this IZN is created by our brothers, Dr. Irfan, and it has been used as the instrument nationwide in Indonesia. So that is the legacy. And myself, I'm so jealous with Irfan because he has created things which is very much useful for Indonesia. And I believe generation by generation, people will later on develop more index based on the IZN, Index Zakat Nasional, the first which is created by him. So make dua for all of us. And then another question from Brother Nuruddin. I think this Brother Nuruddin I met in Kano. I was in Kano in 2017. There was a conference by IIIT in Bayero University. I'm not sure whether participant here come from Kano, Nigeria. If any, then alhamdulillah. So questions raised by Nuruddin is that if Wakaf tends to be general and non-specific, are there any restrictions on the use that are possible? The term for the benefit of the Ummah tends to be very broad, and does it not rule out the misuse of Wakaf? Well, the reason last week I was proposing the intention of Waqif for the asset Wakaf that they donate is put as much as possible for the general purposes. Why? Because it gives room for the Nazir. let's take this example. If next to idle wakaf land there exists hospital. Yeah, assume that Waqif, give to the Nazir empty land used for Waqaf, and the intention of the Waqif is please establish or build a hospital on top of the Waqaf land. But in that particular locations, just next to the Waqaf land, there exists already hospital. Why should the idle Waqaf land be developed for another hospital whereby previously there was hospital already? So that's why if the intention of the Waqif is already hope or already asked the Nazir to build a hospital, that conditions will create difficulty for the Nazir. Who will go to this new hospital, right? Better to establish hotel to accommodate family or patients to stay. Next is the hospital, fine. But are there any hotels surrounding that hospital? If no, this idle Waqaf land can establish hotel, right? So that the patients of the family, right, can stay in that hotel. That's why the intention of Waqif not to specific on the hospital, just say for the general purposes, which give more maslahah. It creates a room for the Nazir to find another alternative which gives more maslahah. And from our Afsanah Begum, what about those sponsor students who learn advanced science to Islam? I think this question raised because I was discussing last week that I'm so jealous with the kindergarten teacher who are teaching a very basic knowledge which important for the human being. And this question raised. What about those who sponsor students who learn advanced science of Islam? Of course, my comment is that this also, I believe, will be rewarded. What more if the student can develop new things which is very, very much needed by everyone, right? Try to think what benefit can I bring to everybody, but significantly, not just a simple benefit, but give significantly, right? Just like maybe some of you are lecturer here, lecturer in the university, and you are required to do research, and you are required that your research be published in a good journal. Of course, one of the strategy you hope to be published is that you have to know the research gap, right? You want to know the research gap, and also your paper, your research give very much significant to develop the society. Only then it opens chance widely to be accepted in the good journal. Same thing like this one. Try to think what kind of benefit that you can give to others, which give very significant. The IZN like created by Dr. Ivan is very significant. If you look at the data, right, before IZN was imposed in Indonesia, you look the growth of zakat. Yes, there is a growth, but not so much. But once the IZN is applied, it very much increased. Why? Because IZN give pressure to the local regulator to develop the zakat performance in their own area. And others, okay, this is my video, my professorship speech. I'll try to put in the chat so that you can copy and look, and we can discuss in the in the YouTube. Actually, now it's already 9:24. I actually have some other slide, Wakaf blockchain, but I don't think I have time to explain it. Maybe we can discuss in some other things. So I think with that, I end my presentations. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Back to Dr. Sahran.
Thank you so much, Prof. I think the model that you have shared with us is very practical. Though it is small for now, it can become huge, inshallah, in the future. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. I think this issue of wakaf is very important. Here in Kuala Lumpur, we have a unique example. There's one man by the name of this Ahmad Dada Boy. He wakaf a piece of land in front of KLCC. Now they built the Bank Islam headquarters. The land is a wakaf, so Bank Islam paying the rental of the land in a huge amount every year. So mashallah, I mean the amount has been used by the Baitul Mal for other purposes. So this is amazing. So I think every one of us, if you can do like that, I mean the way that you're doing for this wakaf cash with this fisherman is great. Yeah. Okay, we have Brother Nurin asked one question. Can you explain further the difference lies between the concept of cash wakaf and the mainstream secular empowerment practice in Indonesia? What is the difference between this is an endowment, I think. The cash wakaf,
Okay. I think the difference lies on the term religiosity. In the cash wakaf, we are so much, tell them or assist the empowerment, the business, the small, medium enterprise with the religious perspective, whereby in the secular, we just, help them only the dunya without, bringing them to the issues of hereafter, just how to get a profit, how to just material things in the context of mainstream empowerment.
Sure. Yeah. Dr. Bibi asked about the wakaf ilmu. How do you explain that?
Okay. Yes, actually, wakaf ilmu is ilmu. See, our lecture, our knowledge that we give to others is also wakaf actually, because it's lasting long, right? And yes, I think ilmu and wakaf is the same thing. I mean, what we give, as long as the ilmu that we give is give benefit, it's wakaf also.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
Okay, Prof. We'll give you more time to wrap up the whole session. So, inshallah, before I let you with the final, we will have another 7 series, Prof, for this wakaf. I think it's very urgent, very important, because we have all the resources. The only thing is that how we channel our resources.
Right.
And wakaf is one of them, inshallah.
Right.
Prof, we give you a longer time for the summary or conclusion.
Well, thank you, Dr. Sahan. We have been discussing this wakaf for 3 lectures, and I believe that in the future, wakaf is very much promising. Really, even more in the context of SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Well, if you look one by one, the elements is very much can be supported by wakaf. And again, wakaf is not only responsible from the people coming from the Islamic economics like me, but also can be supported by all other disciplines like IIT. See, IIT can support wakaf also with the blockchain, and also from the civil engineering, let's say. How can they build building which lasts long until generation by generations? How could they build the strength of the building so much so that 5-10 generations can still, stay in that building? And also any other discipline can support for wakaf. So I do expect that all of us here in this Zoom meeting try to learn wakaf more, and I believe you can contribute at least as a wakif. At least as a wakif. If you don't know, you don't know how to be a nazir, at least you are wakif. Please donate some cash wakaf and let the professional nazir manage your money for the benefit of the ummah. Thank you very much, Dr. Saran.
Thank you so much, Prof. It will not complete if you don't mention this Sulaiman Ar-Rajhi. How he wakaf the whole the whole farmland for the dates in Saudi. Thousand of acres of date trees. I mean, date plantation, and he used that profit for all kind of things. So this is amazing. This is amazing. Yeah. Right, so inshallah. Right. Okay, Prof. We will be in touch. We will design another series, inshallah. It's very important, inshallah. Thank you, Prof. Inshallah. Thank you, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.